Steph Curry was on a podcast with Gilbert Arenas and made the claim that he was the best point guard in the entire history of the NBA. And some people are getting up his ass. The thing to me is like, if Michael Jordan has to come out and say something about, no, that's not the truth, it probably isn't the truth. I mean, let's be honest.
Yeah. But listen, that's all I got to say. I don't know the most about basketball. You already know. I'm usually trolling.
You know enough, though. You know enough.
But only thing I know, anybody, you don't even have to know about basketball. If you know anything about Steph Curry, he changed the fucking game.
This is facts.
I think if you change the meta of a sport,
yeah,
you're a legend in your own right.
You're
I don't
allowed
care
to be
what you
considered
say
a
about
GOAT.
his position.
Yeah, you're allowed to be considered a GOAT. You're allowed to be considered a legend. But if we're just focusing specifically on point guards, there's a man named Magic Johnson that exists and is still alive. Right. And everybody could go and watch his highlights. There's something there where, you know, even though he did change the game and he made 3-pointers as huge of a issue of a part of the game as they are today, there's still a level of, like, Steph Curry to me is more like a shooting guard type point guard.
Right.
Magic Johnson is a true point guard. I mean, you've seen the highlights, right? Did you watch The Last Dance and stuff like that? I mean, that wasn't focusing on Magic, but
I've seen the Magic play. I've seen some of his highlights.
And it's literally like the epitome of what a point guard is. Like, I don't think before Magic Johnson, and y'all can already tell, like, I'm 25, I'm a young guy. I didn't grow up watching Magic Johnson or anything like this.
Yeah,
but
I've just seen clips of him play.
Yeah, I'm a fan of the sport. Like, I know my shit, right? If you watch Magic Johnson, like, before Magic Johnson, Michael Jordan said it himself, like, there was no such thing as, like, the importance of the triple-double. Like, the way that he was able to, like, create fast breaks and things of that nature, the way he was able to, like, dime up people and make it, like, a show and put on a spectacle and stuff like that, he was doing the same thing in that regard that Steph is doing today. So he has that under his belt as well, plus more championships, plus shorter career, more success. There's all types of different things where you can say Magic Johnson is still that nigga. Like, to me, he's still that guy.
Right. But do you think, and you did mention fast breaks, but, like, that's what I'm saying. Like, he probably isn't the best point guard. Like, and from how you explained it, probably isn't. But, and in every other metric, he's a legend that we remember.
Yes.
That's all I really got to say. But, like, what do you think about, you know, Steph Curry haters who won't give him his stars? Like,
in terms of, like, what though? Because, like,
in terms of being a legend, because even just him saying he's a point guard, I've heard people just shit on him. And
that's the argument that they use. Like, when they trying to shit on Steph, the argument is always like kind of what I just said, where it's like he's not a true point guard. But we've seen that before. Like Allen Iverson, for example, he was like more of a scoring guard. But people still regard him as like I don't know if they put him like top 10, but, you know, top 15, still legend status point guard. You know, Oscar Robertson, I think he was a point guard. Someone has to correct me if I'm wrong. He might have been a shooting guard, but still kind of like running the point, had the ball in his hands all the time, was a scoring guard. You know, Russell Westbrook, scoring guard, still a point guard. So that argument to me doesn't really make any sense. I only use that in the sense when we're comparing him to Magic, because Magic was literally, like I said, the epitome of what a point guard is. Like, point guards are supposed to be like the quarterbacks of the team when it comes to basketball. You're supposed to be the one that's setting everybody up. You're making sure everybody's in position. You're making sure that you're getting this person open. You know, you're running the sets properly. That's what a point guard normally, like when the sport was incepted, that's what it was supposed to be. That's what the position was. Steph has changed it into where it's like okay for the Damian Lillards to exist or for the John Morants to exist, where all you do on the court for the most part. I mean, he's gonna get his dimes and stuff like that, but for the most part, you're scoring. You're going out there and you're gonna average 30. So that's the only argument I've heard against Steph Curry. Another argument that they use is like he doesn't have like a Finals MVP until like a couple of years ago, I think. Yeah, a couple of years ago. That's the first time he got a Finals MVP. And it's like, you know, you can make the argument that the people that got the MVPs when they got him, like KD got the MVP for 1 year, and then like Iggy got an MVP for 1 year. Like, they had great performances. So I don't really hold that against him. But like, personally, I love Steph Curry. Steph Curry to me is the guy. Like, I'm more inclined to make the argument that Steph Curry is more impactful in this generation than LeBron is. That's where I would go with the conversation. I wouldn't even be having the point guard conversation.
Dude, they're going to get on your ass.
They can get on my ass all they want. They can get on my ass all they want.